Welcome to the Moon in Gemini podcast. I am your witch in residence, April Edwards. This is our astrology of the week for July 13th to July 19th. July 13th, Mercury retrograde in Cancer squares Uranus in Gemini. Mercury retrograde is already drawing the mind backwards. It returns us to earlier conversations, family dynamics, and the language of the past. Cancer remembers, and it protects. It often interprets the present through the emotional imprint of what has already happened. Uranus in Gemini disrupts mental patterns. It brings sudden information, changed plans, technological disruptions, and abrupt shifts in perspective. So when Mercury retrograde squares Uranus, the old story meets interruption. This can be jarring. Someone may say something that breaks through a pattern, or you may realize that a memory you have carried for years is not the whole story. This is not necessarily gentle, but it can be liberating. Uranus does not always bring the truth in a soothing form. It brings the shock of possibility. The mind may move quickly today, and the nervous system may feel overstimulated. Plans may change. Messages may be understood or arrive out of sequence. Because Mercury is retrograde, take your time before assuming the first version of events is complete. The revelation may be real, but the interpretation may still need time. July 14th, new moon in Cancer. I have recorded a separate episode devoted to this, so I will keep this brief. New moons begin a cycle. Cancer begins through care, protection, and belonging, home, memory, the private self. This new moon asks us to consider what kind of emotional foundation we are beginning again from. But because Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, this is not a clean break from the past. It is a new beginning shaped by review. Something old may need to be renamed before something new can take root. This new moon does not ask us to rush into new intentions. It asks us to listen to what the past is trying to teach without letting the past write the entire future. Cancer wants safety, but safety cannot be built on unconscious repetition. It has to be built on truth. We will go deeper in the separate episode. July 15th, Uranus in Gemini sextiles Neptune retrograde in Aries. This is not a personal transit in the ordinary sense. It is part of a larger collective pattern, and it will be active beyond this single day. Uranus in Gemini changes how we think, communicate, learn, connect, and exchange information. It disrupts language. It changes the channels through which ideas move. It accelerates the mental field. Neptune retrograde in Aries turns inward the ideas of identity, courage, action, and becoming. Together, these planets create a subtle but powerful opening that awaken envision. Ideas may arrive that feel ahead of their time. Collective narratives may begin to shift. People may start questioning what courage actually means. This aspect can be creatively fertile, and it can bring strange insight or a new language for spiritual experience, or the feeling that reality is more flexible than we assumed. But because Neptune is retrograde, the vision must be tested inwardly. Not every inspiration is ready to become a movement, and not every new idea has roots. Let this transit open the imagination without requiring immediate certainty. July 18th, Uranus in Gemini trines Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. This is another major collective transit. Uranus wakens, Pluto transforms. Uranus in Gemini changes communication. Pluto in Aquarius exposes and transforms power within systems. In a trine, the movement between them is strong and efficient. Something may shift quickly because the deeper structure is already under pressure. A new idea may reveal the weakness of an old system. A technological or social change may make it impossible to keep pretending the old model still works. On a personal level, this may feel like a mental breakthrough with deeper consequences. You may see how your thinking has been shaped by groups, platforms, communities, or institutions around you. This transit is not sentimental. It clarifies. It shows where the change is not merely desired, but where it is already happening. Because Pluto is retrograde, part of the transformation is internal. The system outside of us matters, but so does the system inside. It's the beliefs we inherited and the language we use, the groups we belong to, and the ideas we repeat without questioning them. Uranus trine Pluto asks us to wake up at the level of pattern, not just to think differently, to recognize what different thinking makes possible. July 19th, Mars in Gemini sextile Saturn in Aries. After the disruption intensity of the week, this aspect gives us something useful. Mars in Gemini is quick. It acts through words, choices, movement, and debate. Saturn in Aries brings discipline to action. It asks for maturity, focus, and personal responsibility. Together, they help direct mental energy. This is a good transit for making a plan, having a necessary conversation, organizing scattered ideas, or committing to a specific course of action. Mars in Gemini can scatter force across too many directions. Saturn in Aries asks us to choose. Not forever, but enough to begin. This aspect supports clean effort. Say what needs to be said, to make the call, to send the message, to clarify the next step. But do not confuse sharpness with strength. Saturn asks Mars to act with consequence in mind. The words you choose now matter. The direction you choose now matters. This is not about hesitation. It is about disciplined movement. This week begins with the mind being interrupted. Mercury square Uranus breaks open an old emotional story. The new moon in Cancer offers a reset, but one connected to memory and review. Uranus sextile Neptune opens the imagination towards new forms of courage and perception. Uranus trine Pluto reveals the deeper systems being transformed. And Mars sextile Saturn gives us the ability to act with more focus. This week is not about asking for immediate certainty. It's asking for responsiveness. Something may change in how you understand the past. Something may change in how you imagine the future. But the real work begins when the insight becomes a different choice. Mercury retrograde in Cancer reminds us that memory is not fixed. A story can be revisited. A role can be questioned. Uranus in Gemini interrupts the script. Neptune in Aries holds the dream of a new kind of courage. Pluto in Aquarius shows that the personal awakening is connected to larger systems of change. And Mars with Saturn reminds us that insight must eventually become action, responsible action. This week, let the story change. Then let your actions prove that you heard it. This work grows the word of mouth. If it's been meaningful to you, you can like, share, or subscribe. That's how it reaches the ones who need it.